Hello, I'm Andrew Dyer, and welcome to another edition of the Roundball Report, the only show in the area dedicated to highlighting the experts of the high school, college, and professional basketball teams which play in the Washington metropolitan area. And here with me again is my co-host, Nikki Lewis. Nikki, we've got a special show tonight, our last one of the calendar year. We got a special treat. Our original Mystics fan and coordinating producer Edward Strand was able to line up an interview for us with the head coach and general manager of the Washington Mystics, Mr. Mike Thibault. Coach, happy holidays to you.
Happy holidays to you guys, too.
Hey, Coach.
Now, Coach, you guys had a great season last year, despite the fact that you lost Taylor Hill to the ACL. How is she progressing, and do you expect to have her ready for the start of training camp?
I would say the start of training camp is iffy right now. I think she's probably on schedule. I would say we'd be more likely to be on the conservative side and say the early part of June, but it's possible. I mean, she's on the court doing some, stationary shooting, things like that. But, getting into live basketball is several months away. So we'll kind of reassess where we are come mid-April around draft time and see what her progress is like. But this is one of those things that, for long-term, health in her career, we want to make sure she's completely ready to go before we put her back out there in a live game.
And, Coach, I know you have several players that are playing overseas right now. How are they progressing, and do you keep track of that and how they're doing?
We do. We keep track. We talk to almost all of our players by phone or by text, probably once every week to 10 days. We don't have as many overseas as we normally have. We've had several actually here in D.C. in various stages of rehab from injuries. Natasha Cloud and Tiana Hawkins and Elena Deladon and Taylor were all injured late in the year, so they've been in town or in and out of town doing workouts. Elena, as a general rule, doesn't play overseas. Tiara Ruffin-Pratt was going through that for a while. Now she's over in Israel. But, we check in. I went overseas to visit with Emma Miesemann for a couple days when she was with her national team in November. We have she and Latoya Sanders playing together in Russia. We have a couple players playing in Turkey, notably Crystal Thomas, is first time back overseas for her in a while. She's been coaching in the off season, so she's finally gone back overseas. So we keep track as best we can. When they play in EuroLeague games, we can watch them on film. But there's a pretty regular dialogue with our players.
Now, Coach, of course, you wear multiple hats. You're not only the head coach, you're the general manager, and your ladies had an incredible season last year despite all of the injuries, finished in the semifinals and lost to the eventual champion, Minnesota. But putting your general manager's hat on, I know you're not going to give us much, but where do you think you need to supplement your roster to try to help through the draft and free agency to try to achieve the ultimate goal of getting over top of Minnesota and Los Angeles and bringing that championship home to Washington?
That's a constant topic of discussion for us. We have the 7th pick in the draft, but, as a general rule, when you have a pick like that, that doesn't necessarily, make you a great leap forward unless you get really lucky. It's, when you take a player in the draft, you're hoping that within the next couple of years they develop, but you can't rely on that. So, I think the one thing that stood out with Taylor out is that we need a wing scorer to take the pressure off of Elena and Emma and Christy Tolliver. To be a consistent one. Most of our other players, they fit different roles that are great roles, but you need somebody that can, just go get you a basket sometimes, that, has no fear about doing it, a veteran presence. It's not easy to come by, though, either. Obviously other teams aren't just letting those players, walk free either. So we'll explore all off-season, trades. The free agent market is iffy because most of the top players will get cored by their teams. Each team is allowed to have, kind of like the NFL, a franchise player that cannot leave in free agency. So, what appears to be sometimes potential free agents really aren't. So we're exploring that. Obviously explore moving up in the draft, but it's not easy to do. We were able to do it last year. to get Elena, but we had to give up a lot to do it. So we'll see. And, you know, if you make a big deal, you better know why you're doing it, you know, and what ramifications it has on your team immediately, what ramifications it has on long-term salary cap issues. So all of that goes into the factor. But I just think we need another, you know, a score of some sort to take the pressure off, and we'll see what happens.
Well, lastly, Coach, how are you looking forward to the new facility, and where is that progressing?
Well, we aren't going to play there this year. We're going to play there the following summer in 2019. So it's a ways off. Come January, they will have had all the outer edges of the building done, the roof and the walls and the foundation. Then they'll start work on the inside. The plan is to have it ready by next fall for the Wizards to practice during training camp and for the G League team to play in there next year. There's an outside chance that if we needed it for playoff time, for a game or something with a conflict, we might be able to do that, but we won't be in there till the following summer. I know that, you know, there's a lot of fans concerned about us going into a smaller building, and I think I need, you know, maybe to reiterate for fans, our players are really craving a home court advantage. Even when you put 7,000-8,000 in the Capital One Arena, you know, in a 20,000 seat building, there's no atmosphere that gives you that dominant edge as a home team. We never feel like we have an edge. So we're excited about playing in a smaller building that, you know, if it's sold out, you have just an incredible atmosphere that favors the home team.
Well, Coach, I want to thank you so much for spending some time with us. Wish you, your family, and the organization happy holidays, and we'll look forward to the start of training camp as the year turns.
Thanks.
That sounds great. Thanks for taking me.
All right. Thank you.
Thank